Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Fun Stuff Friday and we have so much fun stuff to play with today. Yay! So the first thing we're going to play with is our Parkoo dual tip brush markers. This is a new set of brush markers that they sent to me for review, and I have been playing with them and I have colored something with them, and I will show you after. Uh, they are a smaller set. Of course, these are only 12 markers. So there's black, I can't read the, there's black, there's a few blues and some reds and whatnot. On the back of it, it says it's quick drying, alcohol-based ink, waterproof, non-toxic, smear-proof, and fade resistant. They do have a regular tip marker, which is a nub and a chisel, and they do have 80 colors in that format. I have only seen the 12 markers in the brush tip format. Of course, you can go to the parkooshop.com and find out if they have these markers in a larger set. They don't yellow the paper, so when you color and you leave your page in your book, the next page isn't going to end up yellowed from the marker leaking. After it dries, sometimes markers tend to turn yellow. So we're going to play with these a little bit, and we're going to throw them all out on the table here. It comes in this plastic little holder, which you can bend the lid down. This is what I have done with them. Bend the lid down and it actually makes it a little stand, which is kind of cool. Okay, so I have made a mess. I'm so excited for today. I've got so much things to show you, and these brush markers I found are so cool. Well, I find all brush markers cool. I think brush markers are just the cat's meow. But that's just me. I've got to grab my undersheet here, and we're going to do a quick swatch. So I'm going to switch you over to the close-up camera. As you may notice, I've gotten all fancy dancy and have figured out a few things in my recording program as well. So you will notice my next few recordings, and well, from now on basically, we'll have these funky and fantastic things. If you don't like that, let me know. I can change it. Alright, so let's switch over to the close-up and turn on the light so you can see what I'm doing. Well, maybe not. It looks like it's pretty good there. Okay, so this is the black. It has a chisel tip. And it covers really nicely. So let's put that in screen so you can actually see what I'm doing. So of course you can do it this way and get a good coverage, this way and get a line, you know, that sort of thing. A fatter line and so forth. They don't bleed a lot. They bleed about as much as you would expect a typical marker to. So this side is of course the brush tip, and you can get a really fine line or a thicker line or a medium line. So you can get a lot of diversity out of each marker. So that's the black. This is baby blue. So I shouldn't have done it that way, but you know. So this is baby blue. I don't know if the paper I'm using is the right paper for markers, but it's a really, really lovely color. And of course we have the brush. And then we have Neapolitan blue. You know, it's just the basic colors, you know, the colors you would expect in a marker. This is a really dark blue and it's kind of looking black on there. And then we have ultramarine. So we'll do down here. Again, quite a dark blue. I might need to turn that light on so you can actually see the color properly. There you go. That's a little better. And then we'll do a large area. And those are our blues and our black. Now we've got a purple as well. I'm going backwards, I know. And there's the purple. It's quite a dark purple. And of course I was off screen. Alright. And of course I forgot to turn off the TV. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to turn that TV off so you guys don't get, so I don't get demonetized or anything like that. I don't get in trouble. Nothing worse than getting in trouble. I'm getting so close to having the 1,000 subscribers. I really don't want to get in trouble now. There we go. You guys probably couldn't have heard it, but I could hear it, so I figure if I can hear it with the headset on, you guys can probably hear it. Alright, now this is the brown that comes with it. It's just brown, straight brown, brun. And it's a good brown. And then we have this one here, which is a marigold, which is actually a really tanny brown color. I do apologize. My dog has decided that she is going to be vocal. Shyla, go lie down. So this is what they call marigold, which is a very tanny brown to me, which is fine because I like having the light and the dark option in the browns. And then we have orange. I'm going to move back this way. And I'll show you on the main camera as well so you can see it a little bit better too. So this is orange. I like how you're able to reach into really tight little spaces with brush markers. So that's probably one of the reasons why I really enjoy brush markers, is because sometimes I do intricate small things and then I can't get into them. So this is Canaria yellow. Yeah, Canaria. And they spelt yellow funny too. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that. But they seem to be very nice markers. And this one here is yellow-green. I think that was just a typo error because they spelt yellow right on this one. So it's a very light green, which we need to have light greens in our life. There we go. And this one here is lettuce green, which is a darker green. hope everyone is excited for the videos today. We have a couple of longer ones that are going to happen. So I wanted to do these ones that are going to be a little bit shorter first. So this is Pale Cherry Pink. And that's it. That is all 12 colors. I'll switch you back over to the main here and turn off the lamp so you can actually see what's going on. So we've got blue or black, baby blue, and I've got them all mixed up. And we've got ultramarine blue and Neapolitan blue. So that's Neapolitan blue, that's ultramarine blue. Then we've got a purple, two different browns, an orange, a yellow, two greens, and a pink. And that's what we have to work with in this set, which is perfectly fine. I was able to completely color an entire picture with just this set. So it can be done. And one of the things that I found with these markers that's really, really cool, and with most alcohol markers, which is really cool, is the ability to change the colors and make the colors a little bit lighter or a little bit darker as we go along. I was not able to figure out how to make a deep red. I did make a small bit of red here, but excuse me, I just added a little bit of orange to the, or a little bit of purple to the orange and made it a browny red kind of color. All in all, it turned out pretty good. I was able to get a really good progression in the hair as well as on the bow and the scarf. I was able to get a good coloring mixture with the purple and the pink. You know, the greens, I was able to get a good level of green both in light and dark. And of course the oranges and yellows are always wonderful to play with darks and lights. The browns work really well together. All in all, it's a pretty good little set. And it turned out beautifully. It colored really, really nicely. I have trimmed off the edge because I was testing colors on the bottom of it, and I didn't think you guys wanted to see all that mess. So I did trim the edge off. So I have another picture here. This is a really quick little picture out of the Norberg and Linden practice pad. So I'm just going to do a really quick little demonstration here on this, just to give you an idea of how well the colors blend together, work together, that sort of thing. So we're going to take our light blue and our, no, that's the really dark one. So we're going to take our light blue and our ultramarine. And one of the things that I was doing on that one, and I know you can do this with practically any marker. Now I don't know how well it'll work on this paper because this paper is really, really absorbent. So it's you find that it bleeds a little bit more than you want it to. So in order to get a gradual progression without going from back and forth from one pen to another, you can do that just by touching the tip of your pen to the other pen. Of course, most of you probably already know this, and if you don't, then I've taught you something that I didn't know either until I started playing with these. And that's just because I'm not a huge marker person. Now I do find that just touching the tip does give me a little bit more control over where it's going. Just try to make sure that you don't put down a lot of ink if you know that your paper is very porous. As you can see, it's already started bleeding into the circle here. I'm going to switch you over to the main close-up camera so you can actually see what I'm doing. So as you can see, it's starting to bleed into there, and that's because I put a lot here. So it's pushing all that ink into there. So I want this to be a little bit darker here. So we just take the darker and we go into it. And as you can see, the dark ink starts turning into the light ink as you go along, which is wow, so cool. And then you don't have to, put the dark ink down and not have it blend, have it look like it's choppy. So I like this method. But those are two of our blues. So I'm going to get to this point here, which is the first quarter, and then I will switch over to the other blue. Now if you go from dark to dark, it's not going to work as well as if you do from dark to light. But it does work with the dark to dark. But it just doesn't work as well. You can't see that progression as well, I guess would be the way to state that. Alright, so we're going to take this. Make sure that you take it and you wipe until you get the actual color of the pen back. Otherwise you can end up with, sorry guys, otherwise you can end up with ink change in your pen. Alright, so I'm going to take this one and I'm just going to touch the dark to it. And we'll see how this goes. So I've got the ultramarine blue and the phthalo blue, I think it is. No, Neapolitan blue. And the Neapolitan blue is the darker of the blue. And as you can see, there's not a lot of difference there. But there is a gradual difference. These do have a little bit of an odor. They're not like really stinky, but they do have the alcohol marker odor. So if you're looking for an odorless marker, it may not be the best fit for you. Now let's make sure we put the right cap on the right pen. It's ultramarine, so this one goes on here. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our purple and our pink, and we're going to play with that too. And we're going to put down some pink. And as you can see, if you go over a color a little bit, you can bleed it out and change your color that way as well. And of course this also works best with light and dark, not the other way around. You just have to be careful how much you add, because as you can see there, I have bled that ink into this circle. So I find, especially with this kind of paper, because this is not the best marker paper, this is meant for colored pencils, that you just barely touch the page. If you're getting close to lines, just do little dots, let it fill itself in, and off you go. And that's our pink. And like I said, it covers very, very nicely. I'm not getting a lot of bleed through except for in areas that I know I've oversaturated the page. But where I'm being careful and I'm maintaining my distance and watching what I'm doing, I'm not getting a lot of bleed out. Of course, these are alcohol-based markers, so they will bleed through your page. Make sure you have a blotter page underneath. So there's our pink. And our purple is a dark purple, so I'm going to turn the light on here so that you can actually see the purple color. And I was able to lighten this purple color with the pink when I was doing my picture. So you can use the markers with each other to lighten them and that sort of thing. You know, use a little bit of yellow in it or something. Lighten things up a bit. One of the things that I'm not very fond of with this set is there's no red. Red is one of the primary colors that everybody looks for in a set, and there is no red in this set. But with how juicy they are, they're really, really, really juicy. You can definitely get a quick color out of them. And like I said, you can do an entire picture very, very easily. Now I'm just playing with the colors here, so I'm not trying to get uniformation or anything like that. I'm just fiddling with the colors. So let's see what we can do with the brown. And let's try it with just the chisel. So as you can see with the chisel, you don't get as much control as with the brush, but you can still control it quite well. I just use a little bit of a tapping motion and watch where it bleeds to. If I do a big swipe, it's going to be too much ink and it's going to bleed into areas that I don't want it to bleed to. Now if you add the brown to the purple, you get a little bit of a darker brown as well. If you're new to alcohol markers, one of the tricks to alcohol markers that you want to make sure that you maintain is a wet edge. So if you are coloring with markers and you have to get up and go somewhere, make sure you finish the area that you're coloring so that that edge doesn't dry out. Like for example, this area here, if I just leave that for 5 or 10 minutes and then come back with my next marker, I will probably have a problem with that edge showing as an edge. But if you make sure that it's wet, you go back over it and make sure that it's wet, you can usually blend that together very well. You can do this with your blending pen if you want to, or with your next marker, or take your previous marker and just go over it a little bit and wet it up a bit. So this is the marigold, and like I said, to me it's a really nice light brown, and I guess marigolds are a brownie color, so brownie orange color. And I'm just tapping. I'm not trying not to rub back and forth like this, because if I do, like I said, it's just going to fill the page with ink, and it's just going to bleed all over the place. And I want to try to stay in the lines. I don't know why. It's coloring. You don't ever have to stay in the lines. So if you're doing it really quick, just barely touching the pen to the paper, if you put your pen down and leave it down for a long period of time, it's going to just pour ink into that paper, and it's going to move everywhere for you, which is really cool if that's what you're trying to go for. Like, for example, I'll show you on the next area. And as you can see, it goes pretty quick. I'm almost done this area, and I wasn't intending on actually coloring the entire area. But it does go pretty quick. So now I'm going to put a yellow down on top of that for the next area. So I'm just going to wet that edge and bleed it together a little bit, and then move on. And as you can see, it's a nice bright yellow. You just have to be careful when you're coloring from one tip to the next to make sure that when you're doing that with your lighter colors, that you rub it out, rub that extra color out, make sure that it has gone back to its original color before you put it away. Otherwise, that is going to get absorbed into your tip and into your ink and change the color of your ink. Then you can have a yellow marker that is suddenly only orange or light orange. Alright, so I'm going to do a couple of things here just for the fun of it, just to show you a couple of things that you can do with a marker. Color the center here. Another thing I have found on certain paper is if you just go in strokes instead of back and forth and whatnot, you don't saturate the paper as much, and you can eliminate that lineage as well. Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of discoloration in there, and that's because it's transferred onto the back page, and because this is really thin paper, it's actually showing the back page through the page. Okay, so now I'm going to take the yellow, and I'm just going to put it right in the center. And I'm just going to sit it here for a little bit. And as it gets a little bit bigger, I'm just going to start moving it around a little bit. Until it gets to a point where I want it to stop. and it just moves right out into your other color there, which is really kind of cool. And you get this effect. I want it to go this way a little bit more. There we go. Which is really kind of cool. I like it. And we can of course do that the same thing with the green. I'm going to put the dark green down first. It's a smaller area, so I can get away with going back and forth a little bit. Try to make sure you stop at your line. If you're using this on really bloody paper, like paper that'll bleed really well on, make sure that you don't go all the way to the edge. I'll show you why. Because if you go over that black line that's holding the ink into this area, this will bleed right out of the lines. So I'll show you that here in just a second. So as you can see here, it's bled that green down into the orange, because the green had to go somewhere, and I went over that line, which opened a floodgate, basically opened a avenue for it to move. And as you can see, it's starting to move over this line as well. And the more ink I put here, the more that dark green is going to move. So if you're going to do this type of thing, and this is with every alcohol marker, this is not just because of these markers, it is with every alcohol marker, because of the fact that a marker will just move. The ink will move, and it will bleed into whatever avenue is available for it. So if we just do this, and we let it bleed to the edge, just go in and just let it bleed as far as it's going to bleed. And then go in with our other marker. And we'll move that to the edge. Just give it a couple of seconds to bleed out. And as you can see, it just bleeds right into the edge of where we want it to go. Now unfortunately I got too close to the edge there, so it's bleeding backwards as well. But in just a couple of seconds, those white spots will be filled. Now you can take your orange and push those back, those colors back. The only problem with this is because the orange is a fairly dark color, it's still lighter than the green, so it'll push the green back a little bit, but it may take that orange into the green area. That's just the fun of markers. See, isn't that fun? And there we go. Okay, so this is our alcohol markers, and like I said, they are a lovely set of 12 markers. We've played with most of the colors Actually, we've played with all of the colors, except for the black, which isn't a big deal. We can play with the black another time. Um, and we did play with the black on this one. We did the shoe. So as you can see, I was able to get a really good blend on the hair. There's no stop and start lines. Everything blends together really nice. This did not bleed out very badly at all, except for where I went over the lines. On the 67, no, this is the 110 cardstock. Of course, it bled through the paper and still made a pretty good cool picture on the back side too. But I was able to mix the purples and the pinks, the purple and the pink, to get a really cool looking mixture there. I was able to mix the brown and the well, the marigold and the orange and the yellow to get a really cool mixture there as well. The greens we mixed with a bit of yellow and got a good mixture there as well. And of course the oranges with the yellows and the browns. And I can't remember what I mixed to get this. I might have actually used a different marker because there's no red in here. But yeah, it turned out very, very nicely. The pink looks really nice and pink, and you know, if you go over it enough times. But all in all, a fantastic set of alcohol markers, and I thank Parkoo very much for sending them to me. I really enjoy them. I can't wait until you get a bigger set. We were able to get a pretty good mixture of colors there. So of course we've got our blues and our pinks, our browns, purple, yellows, into our oranges and greens. And you know, they're fun to play with. They're fun to get a lot of color down really quickly. And you know, if you play with them the right way and just experiment with them, and that's basically all I did here, because I have alcohol markers. I've always been terrified of experimenting with them because I don't want to ruin my alcohol markers. And somebody told me just to touch the tips together and rub it off. You know, the ink will come off. It's not, you know, a permanent thing. So that's what I started doing, and yeah, it turned out really, really nicely. I was really surprised and quite happy with this entire little set. And like I said before, it is a nice little set of 12 markers. The only problem that I do have with it is the fact that there is no red in this set. Other than that, fantastic. And I can't wait until they come out with all 80 colors in the brush marker. And if they have the all 80 colors in the brush marker, let me know, because I will definitely be adding to my marker collection. Not like I need any more markers, but I want them. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will of course leave the links down below for the Parkoo markers. I am an Amazon affiliate, so they will be affiliate links. And thank you Parkoo for sending me these wonderful markers. Of course I was sent these for a review, and of course as always I give 100% honest review on these. Personally, I think they did beautifully and are great for what we set out to do with a marker. Other than that, guys, of course, remember to relax, color, and stay safe. And of course, we will be back shortly with another Fun Stuff Friday video. All right, guys, bye-bye for now.